into the game.
Please, if we have got the option to go colorful, we are going colorful.
Evading the fashion police.
Oh, well, my name's Fox Spencer, and I'm Fox, my, I guess, first video of the year. The Ghost and my Mcgee. Which, the show's apparently going to end in a week, so I wanted to get this one done. Let me just make sure this is recording, because last time I wasn't, and they kind of pissed me off. But, this is Fona and Game On, which both of them are actually canned episodes. Which also another thing that I've kind of noticed is that the Ghost of Mcgee does reuse ideas sometimes, but they write them so well it doesn't really matter. I think at that point I might have even brought this up too. But like Fona is fear of nothing at all, where Molly is scared of going to the dentist. Especially because the mascot of the dentist is a tooth with teeth. So the question is, does he brush his teeth or does he brush himself? Where does his teeth have teeth? Where does it end? Scaring her. So Scratch saying, yeah, totally won't backfire. I'm gonna cast another curse on you. So for 24 hours, you have fear of nothing at all. I don't really know why I had 24 hours. Could have been like 10 minutes, I'd imagine, but who knows? Cast a curse on her, which she then has a fear of nothing at all. And out of that fear of nothing at all, she decides, after getting her teeth done, if everything's fine, she's like, I'm gonna, face my fears and do everything. I'm trying to figure out what that red is. And try to do... What is that red? Oh, is that my switch? It is. She's like, I'm gonna do everything that scares me. Like, she first does this by having Daryl's spider crawl over her, and they crawl even in her mouth and out. I'm just like, alright, a little overboard, but alright. And the Fearless episode is kind of a canned episode in itself, but it is also this episode, in a sense, is also kind of something, because like Scratchy brings up, like, he's like, when do my curses ever really backfire, or something like that. Well, they only backfire, however so many percentage of the time. And it's like, yeah, we've already seen this. There's a problem, usually with being human in some capacity, that then Scratch takes away that feeling or whatever for them, and by curse, and then, push comes to shove, something bad really happens, and they then have to save that person from that curse or themselves or whatnot. Like, we kind of see that with, like, Libby being unlucky or stuff like that. And there's also some other ones, too, like, what is it? There's around 3 sports episodes, or 3 episodes where they are in some kind of sports or competition, they make a bet with it, they use Scratch as a supernatural boost, Scratch then gets taken away to the ghost world, and then they have to then deal with this by themselves. And Molly Mcgee does change it up, whether or not, like, they do need him at the end or not. Though I think 2 of them, both the turnip ball and, I think it was the turnip ball and the baseball one, which is really funny, because this show first had baseball, and now we suddenly switched it to turnip ball, and, like, turnip ball is just the game now. Like, baseball isn't even a thing anymore. Turnip ball, where Scratch disappears, and then he comes back, and then, like, it's already over, pretty much. But this one, Molly, starts faces all her fears, which we have a whole song about it. Which she gets sent to detention, mind you. One, Fear was getting sent to detention. But the weird thing is she got sent to detention by telling this teacher, I just don't want to be in her class. I really don't like it, and it really does nothing for me. And he sent her to detention for that, and I'm just like, the teacher's the a-hole in this scenario. Why did you send her to detention? Can you even send her to detention for something like that? Like, I don't like your class. Detention! Mind you, I was in a school where if you didn't finish one problem on your homework because you wanted to bring it up to the teacher, to ask, like, hey, how is this done or whatever, they would then send you to homework detention for that day, which then sends you to an extra hour of school at the end of the day, instead of, the teacher doing their job and, helping you. They send you to detention, where I then said, well, mind you, back then I didn't curse, so I kind of just said, well, no, and I kind of, I'm like, why the hell am I here? And I gave them shit about it, and then they sent me to actual detention, which actual detention was on Fridays, where we would have half a day of school. You would stay for the rest of the day of school doing military drills and organizing. It wasn't a military school. It was a charter school. I'm sure I've already brought this up before, and I know it's off topic, but yeah, they sent me to there, and that's where I first met Mr. Cleaves and Mr. Lee, which they were the best teachers in that entire school. Mr. Cleaves was the dean of discipline, and Mr. Lee was a security guard. Understand how shitty every other teacher was in this school if the dean of discipline, who didn't have a class, he had a homeroom class, he didn't have a class of his own, and the security guard are the better teachers in that entire school. Mind you, this was all the first time they met me, and also when they found out that I did mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu and all that. So when they told me to do 100 push-ups, I said, are you sure you want me to do 100 push-ups? Are you sure you don't want me to do more than 100? I can do them one-handed if you like. Yeah, their first impression was like, he's a smart ass. I'm like, yes. And eventually pittered off. That eventually later on found out they're like, no, this school's ass and you're kind of getting a raw deal. Like, I would still get sent to detention, but then like they would let me, like, first 10 minutes of detention, they'd be like, all right, you can go home. Like, you see this guy here? He's doing all the work. He's doing the push-up stuff, and he's not complaining. He gets to go home early. I'm like, okay. Mr. Cleaves and Mr. Lee, if they ever see this, they're, greatest. And if you ever, I don't know, I'm not sure what the age range is here, if people my age, or even people who are slightly older who have kids who are in Chicago who think, hey, a high school that is downtown next to Millennium Park, that is a charter school, and they have a bunch of other Nobel charter schools around the Chicago area. I think it might be a smart idea to send my kid there. Don't. Let me repeat this. Don't. Anyways, beside the point. I'm off topic. I completely went off topic. I apologize. But yeah, if you're a parent who's somewhat watches the cartoons and are watching me because, whatever, don't send your kid there. If you're a kid that's getting sent to one of those Nobel charter schools, I'm sorry. Try to get out as fast as you can. Get out now. Also, mind you, most of the teachers there actually don't need a degree in teaching to work there. Just an FYI, get out now. I could make a whole video about that school. Anyways, she's afraid of going to detention, gets sent to detention, PC out of detention, she pieces out, and pretty much she goes on a whole thing, steals stuff. It's also mostly like she's drunk too, like her inhibitions are just gone. Isn't that the hater doll too? Does some parkour. That's pretty good. Also, and Happifire from like her freaking what the hell was it? The goddamn one Nintendo made where you plant shit. I want to say Stardew Valley, but that's not right. But it's kind of that. Animal Crossing thing and Happifire still. she does all these things. They push this into the very end where, they're a thing, totally. We barely seen them together. They kind of have zero chemistry. Then again, maybe that's also the joke. Now that I think about it, maybe they're just like, you know what? We're just going to push the envelope with this a lot, and we're just going to give two characters who are the exact same, who have zero chemistry with each other. If that's the joke, fine. But yeah, zero chemistry with each other, like, have them just make out. Molly does all these things, discovers aliens. And pretty much does all this to show that she's now fearless, just to conquer her fears. And then we do get some good part where it gets kind of darker towards the end too. Which, again, I love that the show can kind of pull that off. Where her last big event thing, we're near the end of the curse, 24 hours, is that she's going to trebuchet herself over Brighton. No safety things on her. With a banner on her back that says, "Enhappifying." Because she wants to enhappify all of Brighton. And she says, "I'm going to spread enhappifying across Brighton." And Scratch then says, "You're going to spread yourself across the ground." I'm like, that's a very dark imagery. They dance around the very dark elements of this too. Like, Molly's pretty much fighting her fear of heights, and dying, pretty much. Because even then, when eventually, like, Scratch's watch ends, because he tries to stall her long enough, and then Scratch goes, "Ha! I stopped you." And Molly's like, "Nope, your watch is 15 minutes fast. Seconds fast." Gets on the trebuchet, fires herself off, and then in the air, she realizes she's enhappifying. And old lady sees that and goes, "That's not even a word, stupid." Pretty much. Flies through the air. And this girl flies through the air. Realizes her scared comes back. Fear. Looks down, sees the ground, and just goes, "Oh shit, bad idea. I'm afraid of this. I don't want to become a ghost yet," which is saying she doesn't want to die, which again, I just love every way they dance around the word of death in a show with ghosts. Scratch obviously flies up, catches her. But he accidentally eats a bird, falls down, slams the ground. Also, they killed another bird in this because they like killing birds in this show. Slams down to the ground. You know, they have their whole heartwarming scene. Not that.
Scratch, I know you were trying to save me, and I was kind of a junkie jerk.
Well, I can forgive you. I mean, I should know better. These curses always backfire. Get me to curse you once.
Yeah, like seriously, like it's almost at the point where they're looking at the fourth wall at that point. Always backfire. Anyways, they say they're sorry.
Oh, Molly.
What? What's wrong?
Just
I love how you can hear it. You can hear it.
say any words with TH.
Cracked her teeth. Still has to go to the dentist. She has to face her fear. Be brave.
I'm scared. I'm brave. I'm brave.
I love Maul. Scratch says he'll never do curse again, which honestly, because these are like the last few episodes, I believe. Yeah, like this might be the last curse episode we ever get.
Oh, the curse was a bad idea, but I've learned my lesson. No more curses. Never.
You know, I don't like the word never. It's just so final.
Sharon.
Hear me out.
Sharon.
You cursed me to become a rock star. Just a little curse. Like just some fame and fortune.
Honestly, I really love how fleshed out the parents are. Like, they could have just made them nothing parents. Or just like kind of like the parents in Star vs. Force Evil, at least for like Marco's parents, where they are just happy kind of characters. They actually give these parents more personality. I like that.
And musical talent.
Hell, they have their own episodes.
His family. Unbelievable.
I don't need to be the lead singer. I'll settle for bass guitar.
The Ghost and Molly Mcgee.
Yeah, and then one of my more favorite episodes, the Game On episode, where, because there's another, God, I talk so much about my goddamn squad, I don't know why, but there's always an episode type, hold on, there's an episode type that, or like canned episode, like, you know, there's the shrinking down into someone's body and whatever, or in the Japan one, it's the festival episode, or, you know, whatever. those tropes. There's one that I love. That it's a more recent one, I think. The video game episode, where it's all based around a video game, where 90% of the time it's based off a video game that the main character, like the writers, probably really liked as a kid or whatnot, or something along those lines. Which also is based off of Willy Wonka, so I'm not sure about that one. But it's usually based around a game or something like that. Like Danny Phantom had one where it was and it was probably my favorite one too. It was the Doom was it Doom Slayer? I think it was what it was called, and like they get, a ghost gets trapped in there, and they go in and fight, and like it's one of the reasons why I was like Glitch Check, because Glitch Check was kind of like a big version, like entire game or entire show based around that game idea concept. Even like I would say the D&D episodes are different from the video game episodes, but like I would say like maybe like Voltron kind of had a game episode with their D&D one where it had more game-esque elements to it. I don't know. But like the game episode is like one of my favorite ones. But the cool thing is, but a lot of times when they do the game episode, they always make the game either doesn't look the greatest. Johnny Test had a few of them. I remember they had a Pokemon one, which I kind of liked because they had like Dark Lugia. I remember I'm like, that's a cool one. But a lot of times like it's always done in the regular art style, or it's done in, they make the game where it looks like either it doesn't look exactly right, or it doesn't, or it's just like, all right, how the hell are they doing this in a game when, like, most games, when you have movement things, especially multiplayer games, it plays more like, at least it would look more like if you ever seen Ralph Breaks the Internet, where like, you see the people playing the Grand Theft Auto game, and they're, like, characters, like, 90% of the time, that's kind of how certain of those games kind of play. And very few times are they like very smooth or suave, like let's say Spider-Man 2. At least, in a multiplayer game. This one, on the other hand, I honestly think works a lot better. Because this 90% of this game is done with pixel art. It's done with pixel art, and like the characters are done with this. That when they talk, they're in the game. Let me see. I'm trying to see where it. Yeah, right here. Look. Look, you have Scratch like bobbing up and down when he talks, and you have Molly looking around. Like, come on, that's. Cool little backpack. Ghost backpack, which I love that idea, and I'm definitely using that tonight for something. But pretty much just for the base of this one. And like even like this is like you can see the freaking pixel art. Oh, Ben 10 had a video game one, which I love that one because it was a sumo slammer video game where they get sucked into the game. I guess it's really like the Tron-esque kind of thing. But like they get sucked into the game, and like Ben can turn into different aliens in there. And I remember I really wanted to play that game, and you kind of could on Cartoon Network for a time. It was a Flash game. But then Gwen had like different like weapon abilities and stuff. It was freaking sick. But yeah, like pretty much Daryl's not doing any team sports things in gym.
I hear you won't participate in team sports in gym class.
I'm a lone wolf.
We need to get V, Daryl, and Amethyst in a room together. And just see Amethyst and Daryl fight each other while V's in the corner, knocking on the door like, "Can I please be let out?"
Daryl, you need to learn team skills. How about you join my turn-a-ball team?
How about I join the esports team instead?
We don't have an esports team. Besides, there's no teamwork in video games.
Ever heard of co-op games as in cooperation? Yeah.
one, he did walk into that because, yeah, there is definitely teamwork on co-op games, and especially team-based games. My first thought was Overwatch because that was one of the first ones where I'm like, okay, you know, yeah, my synergies working with this, like, beginning of the game, I'll play as Tracer, run around, like, screw with the enemy and stuff like that, but once they kind of put, if the bad guy, if the other team pushes further enough, I'll switch to Bastion and just, like, protect the point. And mind you, the dumbest thing, well, let me rephrase that. Overwatch has done a lot of dumb things. Like, one of the main reasons I haven't been playing it for a few years now is because the idea of, like, what do you want to play as offense? You want to play as this? You want to play as that? When I liked it more. And also they made free play that instead of making free play, you know, play whatever. And some of you might say, well, just play an arcade. Arcade doesn't get you, if I remember correctly, the same points or whatever that you need to then get some of the boxes. But then again, I think they took those out now entirely too. So I don't even know anymore. But beside the point, I liked beside the point. Like I remember like one of the first dumb things that Blizzard did on that game was make where Bastion, if you a turret that can't move is firing and staying there, is like, are you even playing the game? You have to move. It's like, really? You're gonna screw me up now, especially when I'm defending the point where I can't move. Like, you're stupid. Beside that, like, yeah, there is definitely cooperation with those games. League of Legends, I don't know if there's really cooperation in that game. I feel like more that's just muscle memory, and if you don't follow the exact point and it doesn't work out exactly how it's supposed to work out, then you just lose. I don't know, because I remember trying to play that game, and I'm like, well, what if we try, like, we were losing, and I'm like, well, what if we tried to go around this end? Like, no, it's too late, we're too far gone, we can't do it anymore. I'm like, I don't like this game if, like, it's already been pretty much preordained by the beginning of it, so then why the hell do I give a shit? Anyways, but yeah. So, you know, they make a wager. If he wins the game, which also he says, like, game no resets, which I'm like, that feels like an older game with the idea of the reset button.
You want. And if I beat it with no resets, first try, you make esports an official school sport and we'll call this team stuff good.
I honestly would love if they continued with the esports thing and they had like like they had another esports episode. I think that'd be kind of sweet. Especially if they kept it with like these graphics and news.
But if you lose, you join the Turniball team.
And in regular, and usually again, how these episodes would go is that Daryl would eventually still join the turnip ball team. But he doesn't in this case because he calls Libby and Molly into this, mostly just as backup. Mostly just as, like, you know, just for bodies to be there. Daryl trying to do whatever. Scratch wants to join in. He and Molly make an idea that Scratch possesses half of Molly, her left half, to pretty much play the left hand. And because apparently Molly's very uncoordinated, misses a high five. I think slaps Scratch at one point. Or slaps herself, I can't remember. But yeah, so they team up. They play this Willy Wonka game where the main boss can be controlled by a player, apparently. And the thing is, they can customize their characters to look just like them, which is great.
Virtual quest. You're ready for action, perhaps overdressed. You gotta be carried away. Get into the game.
Ooh, I like that one. Oh, where are you going?
To play.
Where's the speech here? Actually, wait, let me see. What was that? The outfit ones. Because... LUZ! I never realized yeah, they got LUZ here. They also got Steven Universe and Dipper. But oh shit, they got a LUZ. That's freaking cool. That is 100% LUZ. 100% LUZ shirt, hell yeah. And then let's see. Oh, and they have Dipper's hat, but I know this one. Level up! Power up. I guess technically that's probably Mario here too. Like, oh yeah, that might be evil hats. Like, yeah, I mind you, okay. This is not gonna be me recording this video, so I knew this one. I did not know the LUZ shirt. I completely missed that one. What? Holy shit, that's freaking cool. Also, I got this for my birthday. My sister got it for me. It's kind of great. What the hell happened to the audio? Oh. Eyes, I don't know if there could be a reference here somewhere. You know what? Let's go. I got my character. Let's play this game. God. And there's probably like the bus. This probably is supposed to be like the Buster Sword too. But they're like, I love the customization that they have in this. Apparently. I know what I would pick. But they, like, and again, like 90% of this episode, I think I said that already, is pixelated like this. Also, I love this ghost backpack that they have. And kind of like what I brought up too, like how sometimes when they do these video game episodes, some things are like weird, like, or like they like move like realistic people, and it's like, really? Is there a game that's gonna let you do this like that exactly? I think probably nowadays maybe, but I know back when like Danny fans like that happened, I'm like, I don't think cover shooters were like that much. Or, you know, the Ben 10 game where it's a 2D game, but like they're playing how they're moving regularly because they're actually in control and stuff like that. Like, I'm like, no, I don't think so. This, other than that, like they put VR headsets on, which I'm like, why? Like, are they seeing all this in first person or something? Is it just a visual of like how they see? I don't know. It was weird, but I was just like, all right, fine, whatever. When they do play, and it's the thing, like Daryl obviously is like, what is it? Each of them plays a different way. Molly's trying to like run around and so is Scratch and trying to do different combos and stuff, which they eventually find out that they have like a supersonic spin dash ability with the backpack. I'm like, that's cool. The Scratch attack, so they name it. Libby's talking with the NPCs and giving them stuff. And then Daryl is trying to barrel through his own. At one point, he just runs through it, and these guys get stuck in like little like bubbles to get guided along to the destination, which is like from one of the Mario games. And it's fun. And I'm like, all right, yeah. And like they're like, I'm not having fun, Daryl. And like there's platforming, there's mixing, and then eventually there's a final boss one. Which, mind you, yeah, okay, 3 levels in this one game. Yeah, I can believe that, if only because, like how much money they probably had to spend just to redo all this. Because you gotta think, like, again, these backgrounds, they've used these backgrounds before. That's, like, they're reusing assets for different backgrounds, probably similar chairs. And then, I'm not sure exactly, I'm not exactly sure how the models work, like, for animation nowadays. Because I don't think they draw like cell by cell anymore, at least like, you know, frame by frame all the time anymore. But I do feel like stuff like certain characters and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, yeah, they probably just do whatever they probably don't have to change too much. This, they had to do like an entire different art style, entire different animation, I'd imagine, for the pixel stuff. But they were able to do 3 levels out of it. I'm like, all right, that's fine. They look like actual levels. And even like how the different movements, like again, like each of them has their own way of playing it out with like different weapons and stuff like that. And it's kind of cool seeing. It's cool seeing that, and it feels like a game. Like if Disney released a Mcgee video game, I want it to be kind of like in this style, kind of. If it's not some like lower poly thing, because that's the thing too, like. Yeah, I enjoy like a good game that looks live action stuff, and honestly, why haven't they just made a Spider-Man movie that's like this style if they go live action? Especially because like how much CGI is being used for more modern Marvel movies, and people are complaining, saying, like, you're using so much CGI, it looks like a video game. Then why not just make an entire movie? Just make an entire MCU movie like that. At that point, like this, where it looks realistic as all hell. You know, you see the pores and everything, and just make a good movie using that, like different cool backgrounds. I don't know. I feel like you'd be able to do that. Or again, like video games. But again, I like a good realistic game. Don't get me wrong, but a stylized game, whether it be like Okami, which is still my number one favorite game, Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild is a goddamn good game, or Tears of the Kingdom. Like, stylized also works extremely well. Or go on the full, or, you know, pixelated games. Like, me and my friends, like, 1 week or so, we were just playing, was it Dragon Mark for Death? Was it the 2D scrolling, pixel art game, which, it's really fun. And honestly, like, certain games like these are really great. Like, they're really great, because, like, they could, because obviously they're not focusing a lot on graphics, they can focus on other smaller things, and to make the game feel bigger, whether it be levels, or, you know, game mechanics, stuff like that. And honestly, yeah, I would like a Molly McGee game if they did like this. Like, Adventure Time kind of did something similar like that, too. We gotta find it, because it was so fun. Remember, we used to play it, and, like, I got to play as Marceline, I got the float thing, it was great. But, yeah. Daryl learns very much at the end, like, he has to rely on his team, and, like, because of, you know, how they're working together, Libby, like, talking about NPCs, brought all of them together to help with the final boss, which is controlled by the principal. Molly and Scratcher would use their scratch attack and different powers to fight the principal boss Avatar, and Daryl was just able to use regular skills, just punching and kicking stuff. And they eventually won, and also did a little Kirby dance at the end. So they win. They're just getting an esports team. They realize, you know, fun together. Also, Daryl did say earlier on that, like, you're all dead weight. Scratch said, that's offensive to me on multiple levels. And I was like, oh my god, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's actually true. So, but, yeah, honestly, if this show does get a third season, I would love to see, like, another esports one. And another, like, game like this would be cool. And I would love to see a Molly McGee game like this. I think that'd be kind of badass. Like, the different customizations and the different, like, abilities of that, I think would be cool. But, yeah. This was a good episode. It was a great fun, like, one of my favorite types of episodes. That was already a plus in that direction. But it was fun seeing a new version of that. It was cool seeing fewer cool references. And I hope the Ghost of Molly McGee does get a third season, but I don't think it is. I think the next unreleased episode is, or I think it actually was released too, like in Europe, I think. I can't remember, but hopefully it's not the end, and, you know, I'll enjoy it when it comes out, and yeah, but tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. The videos I've done, links are on my face, subscription buttons are on this one. Please check out my videos. Hopefully enjoy this. I like this episode a lot. Out of a lot of the canned episodes, this was a pretty good one. And it's one of the canned episodes that I really like, and I want to see more game ones. Man, ooh, I could probably do one for Owl Town. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you later. Yeah, this is great. I like this a lot, and I literally went from just my old school to back to Molly McGee to, like, video games, and there's a lot that happened here.